All right, with the NFL free agency starting, obviously we've had players signing and re-signing all over the board, but there was also a few trades that do impact the 2020 NFL draft, and that's kind of what I want to talk about here. The first one, the big one, DeForest Buckner of the San Francisco 49ers has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts, and they ended up trading him for the 13th overall pick in the draft. If we look at this from the 49ers point of view, as much as DeForest Buckner is a stud and one of the best players along their defensive line, they had an abundance of talent. You've got Dee Ford on one side. You've got Nick Bosa on the other side. They re-signed Eric Armstead, so that made one of those guys was not going to be there. And I think most people assumed it was going to be DeForest Buckner that was going to stay and Eric Armstead take off. Instead, the 49ers re-signed Armstead and ship off DeForest Buckner. And they got a pretty good deal out of it. They got the 13th overall pick. And usually you see these top guys get traded, and they get traded for a second round pick, a third round pick. This is a top 15 pick for a player for pick. So this is a big deal. Buckner's already signed to a $21 million a year contract that makes him the second highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history, only behind Aaron Donald. So the 49ers are saying, hey, we can't keep all these guys. We've got to ship them. They get a good pick back. Now with that 13th pick, the 49ers, a team that don't have a ton of weaknesses, are in a position to really get an impact player. And I think a player to really watch here is wide receiver and CeeDee Lamb. If you look at this, where Kyle Shanahan has had his most success, he's always had and they had success this year, but they always had that elite big receiver. You know, in Atlanta, he had Julio Jones. In Cleveland, he had Josh Gordon. In Houston, he had Andre Johnson. And they haven't had that type of guy with the 49ers, but they were never in a position to really get them. I think at that 13th pick, if CeeDee Lamb drops a little bit, which he could because of, he didn't run the fastest time at the combine and all that, so maybe he slides down a little bit. A guy like Henry Ruggs or Jerry Jeudy goes ahead of him. And now the 49ers are in a position to get that young impact receiver that kind of puts this offense a little bit more into focus. But let's look at this from the Colts' point of view now. When I looked at the Colts this offseason, they're a team that I felt was all in on ready to make a run for a Super Bowl. And a lot of that was because there was all these rumors of them going after Phillip Rivers. And you don't bring in Phillip Rivers to the Colts if you're not looking to win right away. If they're looking to continue to build, they probably would have kept that 13th overall pick or moved up to take a quarterback. And even with the whole Phillip Rivers move, there was talk that they could draft Jordan Love at 13th overall. So you have Phillip Rivers, and then you have Jordan Love. You ride with Rivers for a year, and then Jordan Love takes over. Now, that's not the case. They don't have the 13th overall pick. But they wanted to win right away, and Buckner's going to give them an impact defensive tackle. Their defensive line was solid last year, but they didn't have any elite guys on there. Now that they do, Buckner will probably play that 3 technique. They had some success last year with Marcus Hunt, who they moved inside the defensive tackle. He's nowhere near the type of player that Buckner is, but you can kind of see maybe they're using him in that type of role. You know, Buckner's had success on the edge. He's had success inside. He is one of the better players in the NFL at the defensive tackle position, and that's why he's getting this huge deal. So I like it for both teams. Yes, it'd been nice if the 49ers could have traded maybe Eric Armstead, who's not as good of a player. But if you're going to trade off DeForest Buckner, getting the 13th overall pick, I think was a good win for them.